Hello and welcome. My name is Jason Baum, and today we're talking about humans on the AI Time Journal podcast. Thanks so much for joining me today. As I said, my name is Jason Baum. I am the Director of Member Experience at DevOps Institute. I'm the host of the Humans of DevOps podcast series. Today and every day, it is all about humans for me. I'm a community builder, people connector, and conversationalist by trade. So, on this All About Humans series of the AI Time Journal podcast, we're going to dig deep and get to know the people behind the tech, behind the data, and behind the AI. So let's just dive right in, shall we? My guest today is Shaishav Shah. Shaishav is the founder and director of Softvan. Softvan strongly believes that the best people don't give up easily and keep building their startups and their dreams. They are the next generation solution provider with expertise in machine learning, AI, big data, LOT, and cloud. As the pioneer of the company and holder of a bachelor degree in engineering, Shaishav's role is to drive and oversee the continuous renewal of key processes, systems, and policies across the company and also manage the client relationship, sales effectiveness, delivery excellence, quality, and talent management. Shaishav, welcome to the AI Time Journal podcast, all about human series.
Yeah, thanks, Jason, for for your time. And first of all, I would like to thank AI Journal for having me today in this interview. It feels so good, when as an entrepreneur, I get the opportunity to share my journey and to the other entrepreneurs with this such a great platform. So basically, I hail from the capital city of Gujarat, where the business is an integrated part of our lives. It is an art that is passed from generation to the generation, and that's how I started my journey to be a businessman. With my IT degree on hand, my vision was clear, and Software was born as an idea, and I had all my energy to make it possible and grow it into a successful business. From from my childhood, playing a cricket or leading a team, I'm passionate about the taking the leaps. So my strength is being a complex solution provider, and the vision to have a provide the digital first approach in any businesses. So that is all about me, and looking
Great.
forward to have a conversation with you, Justin.
Absolutely. I'm looking forward to it. Thanks so much for giving us a little bit of an intro on yourself. And so now that we know a little bit about you, a little bit about Softvan, perhaps as an entrepreneur, I love talking to entrepreneurs because it is a different mindset. You have a different drive. You have to. You are programmed differently to say, I am not going to work 8 hours or 10 hours a day. I'm going to work almost all day every day, but because I don't want someone telling me what to do, and because you absolutely want to do what you want to do and create what you want to create, which is I always think I wish I could be an entrepreneur. I love talking to them. I don't have that in me. I thought I did, but I don't know if I have it in me. Um, there's a lot of struggles that come with being an entrepreneur, I am sure. So perhaps to kind of kick things off and start, can you tell us a little bit about the struggles that you've had as an entrepreneur in the AI industry? How have they made you stronger and just as a stronger leader overall?
Definitely. So there is a famous quote that CEO can't be on work from home. So that's the first the starting point. So for my point of view, struggle are obviously a part of our lives, and no industry or business is spared out of it. Like last before the pandemic and after the pandemic, last 3 years, if ever tasted and the matter countless businesses and industry. However, those who were able to stay afloat had one thing in a common, that ability to adopt. So struggles are there, but adoption is the kind of positiveness which can help you. And being an entrepreneur myself, I do have my own sets of struggles while making a significant mark in the booming AI industry. So everyone wants to dive into the world of digitalization and benefit from the future facing technology. We have been surviving the competition with our consistence of efforts while excelling our innovation and serving best at AI experience to our clients. So we never limit ourselves to explore something new and find out the best way for a client. Even though most of the cases we see that client coming to us and say that I planned something, but you and your team give us a best idea. So struggle is there, but if you have a positive approach, you can easily uh, eh, look further.
Awesome. Yeah. I think everyone strives to stay positive, right? But then when something big happens, um, what do you do? Like, what's a trick that you have? Is what's like something that a new professional, perhaps a new entrepreneur, that they can do to avoid the struggles, maybe stay ahead of the curve, but when those struggles happen, how do you cope with them? How do you stay positive?
So, positive, I would say, as per my experience, positivity start with your surrounding. So, touch wood, I have a great team and a great family who support me in each and every steps of my life. So, whenever there is a struggle, in day and day out, we are facing struggles for expansion, for other and not right. So, I always believe and go to the next person where I can believe and can discuss. So as a company point of view, we have a strong leadership who all are veterans and coming from the industry and having decades of experience. So we go and discuss and brainstorm. So as an entrepreneur, I feel that I'm sure as a startup point of view, you are not having a big team, but I always ask them to connect with the other chase the by the experience, nothing to experiment each and everything. So connecting the people, discussing with the people, and having a strong support as a back end of team and the family, that's something giving them extra edge to survive in the these durations.
Gosh, yeah, having that support team is truly valuable, and I'm sure it probably takes a toll on them too sometimes. The struggles of entrepreneurship. Uh, we don't have to go into that, but I am assuming that it must. You always hear them thanking their family first, right? You know, as an I mean, maybe we could touch on that a little bit, but I always hear them thanking their family because I'm assuming that it must
Yeah.
take a toll.
So being family is why I'm living in a joint family as well, and team is we as a team always do a joint lunch, never goes the outside. So this is the surrounding. It's our culture. Like being in
Yeah.
India, there's Asians. The family is the first thing. So yeah, family is
Gosh,
the first the ideal as well as the backbone for anything.
I love that. I think we all strive for that, no matter where we are. It's certainly difficult at times, I would say, to keep that balance, and I think having that mindset is very important. Uh,
At the Softvan, we have a triple eight mechanism: 8 hours work, 8 hours sleep, and 8 hours spent with family as individuals, and as well as invest into your growth, either reading, either whatever, if you ride a bike, go for a bike ride. So 888 is simplest methodology we adopt at Softvan.
I love that. So, uh, I thank you for sharing some of that was personal. Like we say, this is the human series. You know, is um, AI, data, tech, the tech industry as a whole. It doesn't matter what you're doing, right? You're doing this. We have human challenges that we are trying to battle, right? So we are humans. We're all humans. That's the thing we all have in common. So that's why I like to do this series and get a little personal, get a little human, and understand the minds behind the tech. So let's talk a little tech, shall we?
Yeah, yeah,
When with the no code revolution. So how is the no code revolution changing the landscape of the industry?
So, since 2014, Vision AI is one of the disruptive technology, and and everyone looking to adopt it. And the recently, starting from I would say 2019, everyone is need to know about how the no code platform works, how they can utilize them to to maximize their pace of increasing a development shift and digitalization. So no code is something is really helping at a core, and majority if you see. most of the businesses don't have access of multiple entry barriers, like being in AI or being in no code. So majorly, like power of human AI. Secondly, the like technical complexity, fragmented tools, and the shortage of engineers, or what's say the teammates. So that's how the no code coming into the picture. The no-code platform make it possible to build, deploy, and scale entire project dramatically faster. Think days in the months. So that's like something a core part of no-code. If you don't know, uh, if you are knowing or doesn't know the like how the codings happen, but no code solution will give you like kind of the GUI, graphical GUI, so everyone can like configure and like build the enterprise grade solution. So that's something like beneficiary of no code. Knowing or unknowingly, you are building an enterprise grade solution without the help of like other resources.
So, how does using no code change the effectiveness of the business?
Earlier, like I just give you a small example of computer vision space. So in a computer vision space, like if you want to apply the building a model, you require like huge amount of pre-processed data. You require a different set of people to like building a solution or creating a model or experimenting. And once it's experiment, you require a different set of other people who can like transform these models into the production ready pipeline. So it's a journey of, I would say, less quarter to 1 quarter to the like year. And after the year, when you invested lots of bucks and the energy, might be you come across that use cases is changing and world is changing real time. So use case might be changing, the need might be vanish. So there's a as per my research and the individual research, just a 3% like the ideas going into the production. So this entire effort and the pain can be reduced by the no code. And with that, like we one of the product is like the Tusker AI, which is like solving the same problem. So whatever we are exploring into the years and the months, we are decreasing to the days and the weeks. And you doesn't like you as an individual, if you want to apply the human AI or the vision AI, you doesn't require to having like that much of in-depth technology knowledge. You just have the idea. So any visionary, any CXO can also create the models or use cases faster. So that's how like the enterprise journey can be changeable, as well as like you get a good success ratio. So that's something I feel that like the pace of building solution, engaging with like thinking out of the box, not required or dependency of engineering people. That is something like the no code can be a revolution for the the industry.
Great, thank you. So, obviously, this is AI Time Journal. So, we like to talk about AI. It's so fascinating to me to learn from everybody because AI, obviously, there's no such home for AI, right? There's so many applications, so many industries, so many things that it touches. Whether we've talked to someone who's, I've had the pleasure of talking to someone in the healthcare industry, someone in the retail industry. It doesn't matter where you are. So, for yourself, how do you see AI helping a company, but specifically what trends in AI are helping your company, Softvan?
So AI is like uh, so we call it artificial intelligence, but from my point of view, it's all about intelligence and how you automate your day in day, how you automate or the build solution which can help you in day in day out. So from a Tusker point of view, computer vision space is like it's something revolution, because what I see that like the CCTV market in the worldwide, even the surveillance market and the like the satellite imagery market is growing faster. So, according to the research, there is a 270 billion dollar market cap just for surveillance and the analytics on top of it. So we touched the computer vision space, and we built the like the one platform for all your AI needs. So Tusker is like simplify the AI vision development, and it's like it's an integrated tool of like uh, of like collecting the data, nurturing the data, creating the model, experiment, and then is like there is a pipeline of the scalability. So you can pipeline. So as a company, as a Tusker, we are building a no code low code platform for a computer vision space. And this platform I see a game changer for the couple of industry where I currently working. One is from the the manufacturing, defense, and the hotel industry. So this recently we onboarded and we had a tie-up with couple of uh, industry leaders, and we see a game changer from them.
So I'm assuming with the adoption comes increased productivity. I'm making
Yeah.
that assumption. Could you tell us a little bit about that? Maybe give an example.
Sure. So, as you know, the Softvan is a consulting and advisory business since 2014, and we deployed the 100 plus solution worldwide on artificial intelligence. But whenever we are building a solution, every time it's need to be start from the scratch, or like there is a lots of repeated process are there. So after the evolution of no code solution Tusker, which is initially started for internal use, we see that these all these the fragmented tools can be come together. We can reduce the the repeated task, and the other folks who is not an engineer, they can also help us in terms of the integrated solution. So that's the performance indication, and providing the solution in a faster manner, which is something benefit I see from the Tusker. And as a client point of view, we engage with recently engaged with one of the manufacturing unit, and in their one of the plant, they are having more than 500 plus cameras, and they have the 5 to 6 people team in command control center who just into the monitor of any anomaly, or the day-to-day activity, or the and the they identify the unauthorized activity. But human, there is a human errors, right? So we see that they, due to these errors and all, they're having a yearly 3% of loss in terms of their productivity side, in terms of the the alarms or the notification which is supposed to come, they are coming on a later stage. So they engage with the Tusker, and we implemented the the our solution in terms of the surveillance of boundaries, surveillance of the human activities, unauthorized usage, and we implement in the compliance, which is earlier days not used to be. So we implemented the the hygiene, IOSA, and the safety compliance into that particular form. So that's something the benefit and the real time notification of any anomaly and the prevention action. It's something the key of no code solution and the AI.
So we talked earlier about being an entrepreneur in India and the culture of being an entrepreneur in India. Um, in what ways specifically in India do you see AI being adopted, or yeah, being adopted in companies? And in what ways could an increase in AI usage better India overall as a country?
Definitely. So I'm not sure whether you are following or not, but not the private companies, but the government itself,
Hmm.
adopting the AI from the roots. So there is a the separate department, and the separate the schemes are already launched by the government to encourage the companies, startups, even the making the awareness how the AI can help. And so in India itself, there is almost the 1 billion of government budgets just for this implementing the AI. And Indian Railways, which is the world's one of the first and the largest railways, are implementing the the video surveillance for a cleanliness, like for a Swachh Bharat mission, for a hygiene and all, into the entire pan India level. So there is a huge impact in the government as a citizen centric solution side. And we see that computer vision space is really making lots of noise, and just not a noise, but it's having a meaningful way of doing impacts. Apart of CCTV and the smart cities computer vision side, we see there is a huge demand in the imagery analysis as well. So even the the Indian space ISRO, which is the Indian Space Organization, are also coming with a lots of different features about the satellite imagery
Mm.
processing and all. So as an Indian territory, it's the same wavelength, or I would say the faster wavelength is growing into the AI space, and each and every day we are seeing a new adoption, new startups, new companies who is building a solution which can help the citizens and the consumers.
Yeah, it's unrelated, but it does feel like there's so much um, progression going on in the space
Yeah.
industry across the world. Here with the Webb telescope and the images that are being seen for the first time ever, which are mind blowing, just in general. But it's great to see, and I'm sure that there is so much movement because of the abilities that things like AI, machine learning, data manipulation, all these things that have made processes just move faster. I'm curious to know because adoption in India, adoption in the U.S. certainly the U.S. is moving very quick with AI and machine learning adoption. I mean, there's so many things that already use machine learning these days, um, but there's still misconceptions, I would say, for most of the general public that are unaware of the benefits and still think the Terminator movies or something like that. And then you also hear they're coming for our jobs. Machines are going to replace us, which is an obviously a misconception. But I'm wondering, is it the same in India?
Nothing like that.
Yeah.
So so yeah, everybody is fascinating from Terminator series, but and they see that machine will take over all these jobs and human activities, but not like that.
Mhm.
It's it's actually started the new era where the you just have to shift your skills into the other skills. So there is a huge demand, even the right now, before the before the machine learning, annotation is nothing, nobody's looking for a job in it. So annotation and the data annotation, it's a bigger market. So there is a lots of people are getting the job who is doing a traditional jobs into the annotation side of things. So AI is there. AI is there, and it's a beneficiary. So if you utilize AI in an ethical way, there is a no harm, and it's a beneficiary to each and everyone, because everyone is looking for high revenue, and revenue increased by the high productivity and the good products. So AI is there, and there is a no misconception about lay off the job, effect on the privacy, someone watching day in day out. So no, from in my circle, I'm not saying that's kind of a trend right now.
It's accepted, generally accepted. Yeah. So, if you could give one piece of advice to professionals in the industry, what would you say?
I would say just do it and keep going. If you can't do a great things, do a small things in a great manner, because that's something you have to do it.
Fantastic. Well, Shashav, thank you so much for joining me for this episode. I really appreciate it.
Pleasure of mine, Jason, and thanks a lot for inviting us.
And thank you so much for joining us for this All About Humans series of the AI Time Journal podcast. I'm Jason Baum. Follow me at Jason Baum, Jason E. Baum1 on Twitter, or connect with me on LinkedIn at Jason E. Baum. Go to In the Wild, the DevOps Institute community forum, to talk about topics such as this. And thank you so much to AI Time Journal for providing us this platform. And until next time, stay safe, stay healthy, and most of all, stay human. Live long and prosper.